We have picture. Do we have sound? Somebody give me a thumbs up if we have sound. Don't want to be talking to myself. 34. Mary Ellen Wood. Mary Ellen Wood. Dawn. Up to 37. Vice Mayor Murphy is in the house. 1 minute, wife. Come on. What are you doing? Are you wearing a robe? Turn the air down then. You're supposed to be wearing your green shirt. 36. Turn on the news. Jilly. We don't have cable. She might be talking about the masks. All right, less than a minute. Hello, Sherry. Sherry Mansky Warren. Self-isolating day 21 for Diane. I got to remember not to put my mouth on this, although nobody else is really touching it anymore. Big show tomorrow. Ask her what it is. All right, pick up your mic. We're going to start while we wait for the mayor to arrive. Ready? Wait, we got to do this like this. Hold on, everybody. Don't go anywhere. I know how to operate this. All right. And go.
Welcome to Beach Talk Radio.
Got fuzz on your hair, on your fuzz there. Go ahead.
You don't take very good care of these things.
Go ahead. Begin.
No, welcome everybody for another installment of Meet with the Mayor.
That's not what it's called. Meet with the mayor.
Fireside chat with the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday night fireside chat with the mayor.
Yeah, but we've been doing it more than Friday nights. So.
Yes. Another emergency meeting was called today by the mayor, and they met at 11:30, and they talked about the governor's executive order, which finally happened. You know, the most interesting thing about this is watching people react to the governor, whether he was too late or right on time, or what do you think? Because that's all that really matters, what you think.
I mean, I think, like you said, people are all over the place.
No, I asked you what you think.
I do think most people were feeling that it was a little behind times. I would agree with that. I think it,
Why do you think he was so slow to choose?
Well, because I think it's a hard decision to lock everything down and it impacts businesses.
Yeah.
But I think if we were going to get there anyway, and I think if it was going to flatten the curve quicker, that in hindsight, which is always 2020, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see if this does it. Hopefully it will.
When you were you out at all today? You didn't go out today. So I wonder how, when Jillian comes home, we'll have to ask her if it looks like there's less traffic. When I asked her where she was going last night, she says, I'm going to a park to meet a bunch of friends. I know she was just kidding.
She was just kidding. She was going to meet one person.
Yeah. And so today they met and they talked about the executive order. They also talked about raking the beach. The mooring, is it called a mooring field? Is that what that is? A mooring field or mooring area where the people moor their boats? It's the mooring something. They spoke about that too. And what else? A couple other things. So we're going to ask her about all of those things. And I wonder, unless there's another reason for an emergency meeting, if that's it for the mayor. That's the last. I wonder if she goes to that. It's not like I can go to any meetings now, but I wonder if she goes, gets her own box on Monday, you know, and they swear in, you know, Jim and Dan and Bill.
Right.
If she's there as like a spectator or just watches it on YouTube, it's so weird. So weird.
She doesn't go on the 6th.
Well, I mean, she's I don't know. She's not part of the council anymore. Her and Joanna are no longer. I don't know if you like have to hand somebody the baton and say, here's, you know, I'm like out, you're in. Race. Like, I mean, but then it's not even like she can be in the audience because there is no audience.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So I wonder how the beach is doing down there. Have you guys that are watching, waiting for the mayor, noticed that the beach is what? Is it like deserted, or are there people out and about? I guess you could still walk around if you
On
want to
what?
walk, like on the beach, down on the beach. Not on the beach, not on the sand.
Oh.
Like the whole, like, where did you drive to on the beach now? I mean, where is there to go?
Nobody
Nothing's
should
open.
be driving down there.
I don't mean
Just
down
people
there. All
that
these
live
people
there.
that are watching
Oh.
us live there, dear. Get with the
Well,
program here.
they can get out and walk around like their neighborhood.
Yeah.
But
So if somebody's coming in the other direction on the sidewalk because they're only a couple feet wide, what do you do now?
you're supposed to kind of like yield and
Oh,
give
into the road?
Well, I don't think there's going to be a lot of cars in
This
the road.
is true. I guess there's plenty of space
I mean,
now.
you have to look. No, you don't want to get hit by a car, but you give as much space
Yeah.
as you can.
So it's very quiet. Bill says it's deserted. Please thank Anita for her service. Yes, of course we will do that. It was already deserted before yesterday.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if there are any cases on the beach compared to airport rental cars are on fire. Really?
That's
More
what-
than one?
I don't know.
Wow.
That's what she
We just
said
got
to
a
check
news
the
flash from
news.
our daughter. What is she doing at the airport? She
She's
leaving
not at the
Dodge?
airport.
Well, we don't have cable, so we can't tell. She'd like to. Jill would like to. Where'd Jill's question go? Jill would like to ask the mayor about allowing residents access to the beach since they're not allowed to rent or lodge for 90 days, and only residents. I don't think that's going to be allowed.
I don't think so.
I think the minute one person gets on the beach and is allowed, like somebody will be looking like, "Hey,
Right.
what's going
What
on
about
there?
me?"
Maybe I can be on the beach." Remember when I was trying to take a picture after the last show at Pete's that I did? I don't even like going down there now because it's, you're the only one sitting there. It's
Well, you'd
kind of
look
depressing.
Yeah, you'd look ridiculous.
No, I mean, even the one time I was there when Ray came on and Janine, she needs 5 minutes, Anita. That's fine. I'm sure we can talk about something. You know what I want to do? I want to put this banner up here too, so I can let you guys know that if you want to get breaking news text, you haven't gotten any this week because I used my limit for the month and I don't want to go over my limit. So just if you want to be part of that, I have a
Well, it's
limit.
a new month.
No, it's 30 days. It's not. It hasn't been 30
okay.
days. So, and we are working on a new app. I twisted somebody's arm in the radio industry to build us an app that when you get breaking news, it comes as a push notification, not a text. And so you don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? Don't you get push
doesn't it-
notifications on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be like. Like
Wow.
when the mayor is coming up.
I'd
Well,
like
I
to
don't know if the
push
mayor's
you.
coming up. The next mayor, if the mayor's going to do it like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see who gets
Yeah.
in that position and if they're willing to come on and put up with you.
Katie says, I think we should just keep Anita as our mayor until we get the virus under control. You know,
A
what's
lot
going
of
to
people have brought that up. A lot of people have suggested that, but I don't think that that's on the table.
No, elections are elections. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, the big question is going to be, is it a good hair day or a bad hair day? And it is. Oh, that doesn't look like oh my gosh.
It's not.
It's the worst
No.
hair day I've ever seen. What the heck were you doing? You should ask for 10 minutes, not 5.
You
I'm
are
joking.
horrible.
Oh, come on. She knows
You're
I'm kidding.
horrible.
Stop. She looks
Ed?
lovely. Let me get the sound on here. for
I'm
her.
just
There
gonna.
we go.
Jesus
Now
God
we are.
Almighty.
There you
Okay.
go. It looks great. I'm
Okay,
kidding.
I'm not worried about it. Least of my worries today. Okay.
How you doing?
Whew, I am so tired today, but I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're great. We're doing great. We've
Yeah.
been together
Glad to hear
for
it.
I don't know how many days now, and
And
So
everything's
far,
we're
good.
everyone's
still
still
alive.
alive.
So
Right
Anita,
on.
we were just babbling on about nothing, waiting for you. So the big question is, why did you call a meeting? Why was there a meeting held today?
Because we really felt that we needed to clear up some things and create a more consistent document with the governor's order.
Okay,
Two things actually. One thing that we didn't, we had our emergency declaration of emergency regulations number 3, which was the sort of, hey, everybody stay in place, do your thing, don't go out, do as little as you possibly can. The governor's order actually superseded that one, but then our issue with the accommodations really needed some clarifying. So at least that's how we felt. So we did.
Okay, so what is the clarification about the hotels and the accommodations so that everybody knows?
Oh, let me just pull this out here. I can tell you. Let me get this one. It'll be easier to look at. So, do you have this online, Ed? Have you got the? Do you have this? Has anybody sent it to you?
No.
Okay. Well, sorry, I didn't do it. So we added some, whereas clauses are basically telling the public why we're doing something. So every time it says whereas, you could just, instead of hearing whereas, you could hear, and here's why, because, or because, that's what whereas clauses are. So we added quite a few whereas clauses that just made this order more similar, more equal to the governor's order. So that's just kind of administrative in nature. But then on page 4 of the declaration, you know what I should do? I should email this to you while we're just talking here. So hold on. And that way you'll have it.
Were you worried at all that the governor's order might have conflicted at all with what you already had? Is that when you tried to kind of just make sure everybody knew we were all on the same page?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely something. It's just yesterday there was a lot of moving pieces yesterday. The governor made an order, then he came back and did another order. And then on top of both of those orders, he said that his intent was a little different than what it actually said. Because at first we thought we were all on the same page because it said, you do this. I mean, here's my order. And if yours is more, if yours is weaker, you have to conform to my order. But if it's, it didn't say anything about if it was more restrictive. So then he came back. It just got a little confusing. But by the end of the day yesterday, with the help of some other people, and thank you to Senator Benaquisto and Mayor Ruane, those were primarily the people that were helping me try and sort of unwind it back a little bit so we could better understand it. By this morning, we were pretty clear that we had the ability to be more restrictive if we chose to for our community. We did not have the ability to be less restrictive than what the governor had been. So we went in and essentially amended our order number 2. Our order number 2 became order number 4 by putting in the specifics of who actually would be allowed to check into a hotel right now, like healthcare officials, first responders. If I sent it to you, Ed, that all begins on page 4 of this order, and it literally enumerates them so that you can know that if you're a journalist covering COVID-19 issues related to the town of Fort Myers Beach, you would be somebody who could check into a hotel.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me pop this up here while you're going through that, so you can read it.
Wish I could post a picture as a shuttle just pulled up to the vacation rental next door. Jeez. Oh, jeez.
Maybe it's the healthcare workers. That could be what you just said. Hopefully that's what it is, right? Could be. But
it's not what's been happening. Let me just say that. Okay. And which is another reason why we wanted to better clarify things so people knew, okay, here are the rules. You can only try and be so nice and so accommodating for so long before you just have to go, we're done. And I think that we're at that point on the beach. It's very, very difficult for especially somebody who lives right on the beach. And I hear from those people quite a lot. We live right on the beach and we continue to see people out there. That's a real slap in the face.
So let me ask you this. I don't like I'm not encouraging people to rat other people out, but if you know
You don't
they're
have
not
to do that on Fort Myers Beach. That happens.
Okay.
That happens. Just it's a
But
natural phenomenon.
my question is, if you're 100% sure that somebody's violating what you've instituted, what should they do?
They should call town hall. There's, if you remember a few times before when we spoke, and in the course of the meeting, Roger was going to have telephone numbers readily available on the website and at town hall for people to call and report a situation. Now, what was that? Oh, the dog sneezed. Stella, you don't have COVID-19, do you? Good Lord, that would not be good. She just sneezed. I never heard her sneeze before. So anyhow, now I can also tell you that it's been an incredibly busy week, and maybe he hasn't gotten to that yet. But I would just tell you, if in fact you feel like these orders have been violated and you want to call and report it, you can call just like any other kind of code enforcement, and we'll do our best to remedy the situation.
Okay, great. Go ahead, dear.
And so that would be code enforcement coming out to deal with it?
Yes, Kim, I could be speaking out of turn, but yes, I think so. If not the sheriff, I mean, these are orders, so.
Right, and we're finally at a place now where everybody should be locked down, and if you have a mask, you should be wearing a mask, because today the president said it's voluntary, but they've changed their plan for masks, and that if you go outside, I don't know if it was the CDC or maybe it was them, they now recommend that everybody in the country wears a mask.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've not seen any news today whatsoever.
Yeah. So
okay.
things are really falling into the category of Joanne was 100% right from the beginning. Like the people that she knows in her family and the people that she was talking to from meetings and meetings ago. I'm not trying to say anybody else was wrong, but she was really ringing the alarm bell. And even I was rolling my eyes at the time, because it just seemed like there's no way it could be that bad. And it's turning out to be that bad.
Yes, I think those of us who have family and friends in healthcare have been keenly attuned to the challenges that this is presenting, and certainly Joanne echoed that early on, and was no doubt a certainly part of the reason that we all had better insight into the situation.
I think I didn't hear about the mask thing either because I was working, but
actually, it just happened like when right before our show, the president was on, and that's what he just said. It's not even 25 minutes ago.
Because I know there's
the president said it. Did somebody else say it? I mean, I don't mean that. I don't mean to be disrespectful, because I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. But did the CDC say that?
He said the CDC said it. So I'm just going off the press conference they had. He had, their daily press conferences. So
sure.
He's saying he's not going to wear one because it's voluntary and he chooses not to. But he said that's the way they're going. It's not mandatory. It's voluntary.
The issue is getting the mask.
Right. Now, where do you get a mask?
Because I've seen people on that Nextdoor app asking, I can't find any masks. And, so I mean,
he said,
what's Nextdoor app, Kim? I don't know what that is. That's the neighborhood thing.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. My neighborhood has
get hooked up in that, Anita. They're crazy people on that.
No, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
I know it. I know what it is now. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the other thing is that it's some kind of fabric or something. It wasn't just masks.
I know, but he said that. And then a lot of healthcare professionals got on and said, a scarf is not.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
All right.
We like that.
I'm really tired of it. And after one of the hurricanes, I can't remember what, I had to change all of my sounds because I just couldn't. Every time I heard it, I'd just go, ah.
So, Anita, let's go back. Let's talk about other portions of the meeting. So many things went on today. There was a woman that came on the Zoom and she said she's from
Meredith.
Ohio or
Meredith.
somewhere. Yeah, she's from somewhere else, but her parents were on the beach, and it was somehow conflicting with deadlines. Can you, not to single her out, but if somebody's in that situation, can you explain what that means for them?
I don't really know the particulars of this, other than I do know that Amy and Rick Lowry of Distinctive Beach Rentals had reached out to me previously. I didn't know that they were one and the same families. Hold on one second. Oh, do you see this? This is my commemorative Rose Bowl cup. I was using it today, so it made me feel a little better. They had told me about a situation that they had, wondering whether or not they had made the right decision. Look, they're the managers of that property, and it is 100% their decision as far as I'm concerned. I am sorry that this woman finds herself in a bit of a bind. Hold
on, for people that are just tuning in, not watching the meeting, can you kind of explain the bind that she was in?
This woman, she and her husband were online with us, and they're basically telling us that her mother and father were here in a rental, and the story got a little long or complicated but the bottom line was they aren't well, or aren't well, and do they have they've been told that they don't have the ability to extend their stay. Now, Bruce Butcher, and they were asking, how can you help? Well, we told them to contact Roger offline, and if Roger could help them, of course he would. But Bruce Butcher brought up that he thought that they would fall into one of the clauses, which I'm just trying to see what. Oh, so there's a number K that you'll see. Maybe they've been renumbered now because we dropped out a couple of these, but it says town visitors unable to return to their home due to COVID-19 impacts on travel. Now, Bruce seemed to think that might cover them. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. Again, you make rules for the vast majority of people, not for the exceptions to the rules. Maybe they are, maybe they are not. I don't want to take a guess on that. That was an interesting part of the meeting, though. Certainly it was a challenging. You could tell that they were concerned for their folks. I'm certain they were. I would be too. There were a lot of points, and if I could just, before I even say anything else, maybe apologize to people at the very beginning. We had a glitch with the audio. It was, we couldn't figure out why. We could hear each other. It seemed like everything was functioning, but we then started, getting messages from everyone that nobody could hear anything. So we took a break. We reconvened at 11:30. We had everything up. And then at one point I got a little testy, and look, if there's any way that anybody could understand the stress of these last few weeks for all of us has been enormous, because of course, everything you decide to do, look, when we decided to close the Shrimp Festival down, the end of the world was near. I mean, it was that intense of a decision. I mean, Rexanne and I actually went after that meeting to sit down with some of the Lions at Pete's Timeout and just kind of talk them through what had been done. And that was tough. That was really, really tough, because they were like, this kills us. It's just been a series. And then we closed the beach, and I stand behind the decisions we've made with absolutely no regret, no remorse, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't been stressful. And so if anybody sensed any kind of tension today, please pardon us. It was, I tell you what, I wouldn't pick 4 other people on the planet to have gone through this with the last few weeks than my fellow council members. And I just really, really just wanted to say that. That's all.
Well, I think that you could sense the stress of being locked up in your own house will take a toll on anybody, and that's the way I was looking at it when I was watching the meeting.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody I mean, I
And
haven't
plus you
heard
have
any
the-
negative stuff.
No,
I mean,
plus you
I
have
think
these
people
these
understand.
these massive
People
decisions you
are
have
quick
to
to
make.
judge. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's
It's just,
this
there's always so much, I always use the soup analogy. Or maybe it's not an analogy, it's really more of a metaphor. When you talk about, there's so many things that go into every decision that just having a spoonful of the soup saying it's either good or bad, it's just okay. Yes, I get that why somebody would pass a judgment like that, but there's just an awful lot that's been involved in every step of this journey. So
let's pop Bill's question up here because I know that came up today and it's a good question because I know you changed the days on that. So that'll be an easy one to explain.
Hi, Bill. Yes, it did modify it, but not by much. It modified it by a few days. It actually, we kept in place the effective date, hold on, of our first resolution. So those days are ticking, which was the 30th of March. And we put in a date specific of June 26th, which someone had requested. Roxanne read an email from someone. It was a specific time frame to allow for the potential for 4th of July reservations, which, gosh, it'd be so great, so great if that were possible. And if that happens, I can't tell you how excited I'll be about it. But I just, we just don't know. What about annual renters, Florida residents moving into an apartment on FMB during the next 90 days? Lease signed in December of 2019. Shelley, thank you very much for that question. These rules pertain to accommodations that are transient in nature. They do not pertain to somebody who owns property here, owns a business here, has a lease here. It doesn't pertain to that. So if you, in fact, have signed a lease and you're moving to Fort Myers Beach, welcome. We're glad to have you. Weird time to come, but but I hope you have a very, very happy life here.
Let's talk about raking the beach.
Mm-hmm.
That topic came up today. It's even confused me about why it came up, but maybe you can clarify it for everybody on the beach.
Well, it came up because, again, it's a normal activity that is usually happening, and it's not happening right now because no one's allowed on the beach. So if, in fact, the town manager were to say, oh, sure, go ahead, go out there and do whatever you want to do, or do your beach raking, he's letting somebody on the beach. And I think a couple of the council members pointed out that it perhaps would require an amendment to our being on the beach order in order to allow it. I don't know if that, we didn't argue about that one way or another, we didn't discuss that really one way or another. And I think that Roger will probably clarify. It's been a really tough week for him. As stressful as it has been for us, it's been no doubt even more so for our town manager and our staff, all of them, the public works guys, Austin out in the mooring field. I mean, God bless them all. They've done an extraordinary job. So, but the beach raking particularly is important to the guys that do it. Very good friend of mine, Bill Perry. He's been involved with the town since its inception. Chris Weber also, since its inception. These guys have been intimately involved in all the workings of the town. And, their primary concern, at least, one of them is simply, there are very intense rules regarding beach raking. And so let's just say that they were not permitted to clean the beach at all, like telling you can't mow your lawn for the next 90 days or 60 days or whatever. You cannot mow your lawn. Well, then by the time you do get to mow your lawn, you've got such an incredible job to do as opposed to keeping it maintained. And that's similar to what their situation is, because there are rules about how much material, meaning plantings and stuff like that could be removed. And so if at some point in time, if they're forced to wait at some point in time, let's say it's June 1st. I'm picking that date just to pick it. Let's say that they can't groom until June 1st. Will those rules be relaxed? So on June 1st, when they go out there, they can actually remove all the stuff that's grown, or will the beach have to leave what's there? So it's a very technical thing, but of course, those property owners, especially on the south end, who have that big, huge expanse of white beach, they want to see that big, huge expanse of white beach, even if they can't walk on it. So I think that's something that will probably be fine-tuned next week. I have all the faith in the world that the town manager will figure out a happy medium, and or the new council will figure that out. It's important to a group of people, but it wasn't. It didn't rise to the level of dealing with it today.
Okay, so as of now, you're not allowed to. Is that what you're saying? Until they?
Yes, I am telling you that. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okie dokie.
Now I'll tell you that, Bruce, I think it was Bruce, said in the governor's orders, landscapers and the like are in there. So do we
Fine line.
consider them a land? Exactly. It's a fine line. It's gray. And for whatever reason, I never knew people, I grew up going to Catholic school. So there was never anything gray. It was yes, no, right, wrong, good, evil, black, white. It's amazing how good people are at finding, and very quickly, what's the slip through part.
So do those people run a risk of being fined if they're out raking tomorrow, this weekend? Do they? I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to.
Listen, the gentleman that I just listed, Bill Perry and Chris Weber, neither one of them would do it. They're just that responsible.
Gotcha.
They're not going to go rogue or anything. They wouldn't want to jeopardize their licenses,
All right.
Rogue rakers. It's a t-shirt. I love it.
This is a big
rogue rakers.
Don't get loopy on us. It's still early in the show.
Whoa.
Hey, I'm going to pop this question on here. It's going to cover up. It's a big question.
I'd like to ask Mayor about allowing residents access to the beach, since not allowed to rent or lodging for 90 days, land-only resident and essential workers allowed out, then why not allow beach access to them? If what did it say about the sidewalk? I'm sorry. If we can walk on the sidewalk, why not walk on the beach? Okay, so that is certainly a very popular question. The difference between walking on a sidewalk and walking on the beach, if you yourself do it, you know how different it is. On the beach, people gather, stop to say hi. Oh, how have you been? It's a gathering place. On the sidewalk, you're literally walking with intention, unless, of course, you have a dog, in which case you're stopping to at least, at a distance chat with people. So I'm certain, and I've told people this over and over again, I am certain that the new town council will at some point readdress that question. Whether that's next week or next month, I don't know. But every one of us are cognizant to the fact that our mental health will certainly be aided tremendously if we have that ability to walk on the beach. The question is, how do we have that ability? Who has that ability? What time? When? I had someone who really gave a lot of thought to it and said, well, what if we just say from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for basically sunrise, sunset. I thought that was an interesting idea. It's just, you just have to get to a point where you are stable, where nothing's changing, where it's like, okay, we've done, just think about every day I come on here and we're talking about something new. So until there aren't so many moving pieces and we feel like we're on an even keel, I think that the order will stay in place. But far be it from me to second guess the next group of very fine people who will be representing the town. I don't know how they will look at this. I don't know. I just feel certain that they will be getting the same kinds of questions and emails that I have the last few weeks, and that they will be contemplating that in light of whatever the information is they have at that particular time.
Okay, here comes another one. Going to cover you up a
Mhm.
little bit, but
Big hello from Canada. We're owners down there, and our hearts are certainly with you and the full-time residents. Thanks, Anita and Ed and the wife, for keeping our
I
eye
had
on
to put
home.
that out there. That was great.
Oh, Richard, that is very, very nice, and thank you. It's our duty and pleasure and honor and all of that all together to do that for you.
You know, it's like the book club. You read out loud to the people, and you know, we go on to the next one. You do a little
Okay.
explain. You read
All
out.
right, come on. I did this with the fifth graders a little bit ago. Hey, can you just hold on a second? I'm going to let Stella outside. Hold on.
Oh, sure. You go right ahead, and
Be right back. Be
yeah,
right back.
and we'll let everybody else know that we're going to ask Anita about the mooring field,
Mhm.
right? Now that we know that it's called something, and also about the magistrate. Like if you get fined, if you were fined like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I don't
No,
think
somebody brought this up today.
I know, but has anyone been fined?
No, I mean if you were fined before this mess came up, what happens?
Oh,
Like because you can't
okay.
go see the magistrate now. So that
Okay.
was one of the questions that came up. If you were in violation of a code and you
Mhm.
decided that you wanted to fight it out with the town and go to the magistrate,
Mhm.
can't do that now because the magistrate is not going to be there. So what took place today so that anybody that is in violation, they know that those fines rack up every day, and they have no way to fight it right now. Because I don't mean fight it, but you know they don't have a way to state their case. I'm guessing unless the magistrate's doing a Zoom thing.
Yeah, I don't think that was particularly resolved. I thought it was, I'm sure I could imagine, I understood why it got brought up, but I'm not sure where that goes. There'll probably be more discussion about that in the coming weeks. Roger had a point. Well, okay, so if we just say we're not going to enforce anything and there are not going to be any fines and those fines aren't going to accrue, then why give out a fine to begin with? So that's there will be a happy medium there someplace. I just don't know what it is yet.
Gotcha.
And we didn't resolve it today. So
okay. What about the mooring field? That was another thing that came up that got everybody a little bit riled up, and I'm guessing that means the people that live out in the water. They had a question about, or somebody had a question about living out in the water, what that means to them. Can you kind of give us?
Sure. I can tell you what I know about it. So we got an email from Kathy Light, who's the chairperson of our Anchorage Advisory Committee. She and her husband Jay are big sailors. They're very attuned to this. Roger's concern, the town manager's, I shouldn't just call him Roger, the town manager had a concern about our employees actually interacting with people who were on the boats. Like he has the same concern for people interacting with employees who are at town hall. So we closed town hall. And he decided to treat the Anchorage just like he would treat any other accommodation, because it is an accommodation. And to make a long story short, there was pushback on that, especially from people who said they actually live in the mooring field, that their residence is in the mooring field. I'm not quite sure how that happens because I don't think that you can extend your stay beyond, I don't know what it is, but it's not like, my house. Clearly, this is my residence. But there are a lot of maritime rules and laws that I certainly am not familiar with. I'm sure that this will be a discussion on Monday's meeting. Roger actually has it on the agenda under the town manager's items. I know that it's an important issue to Rexanne. She's been talking to a lot of people about it. You heard Vice Mayor Ray, say, that I think Ray was leaning towards allowing those people to stay. That was the feeling that I got. But more importantly, the point that Rexanne was trying to make was that there are people who have already spoken and been spoken to who are preparing for Monday's meeting. So it was just put off until Monday's meeting.
All righty. So we'll follow that on Monday. It's
Yeah.
I'm totally confused by it, but that's
Well,
not a surprise.
What's confusing about it?
I don't want to waste your time with that. It's just I'm
Okay.
confused about lots of things. So you'd be on all night if you were my therapist.
It's a continuous state.
No, the other thing I wanted to bring up was I don't want people to get their panties in a bunch when you see Turtle Time out there on the beach taking care of the turtles and doing their job. So can you explain that?
No, I don't either. I don't either. And that, so I honestly, I was not aware that that our staff members go out with Turtle Time. Now I know Turtle Time has a whole army of volunteers, and these are I know a lot of them, very, very dedicated people to the preservation of the sea turtles. It's fantastic. So I was instantly imagining all those dedicated people going, walking, looking for nests and whatnot. Evidently, that's not what Roger has in his mind. I don't know. It was a little vague to me. I still am not quite sure what the email was that was being referred to from Ms. Haverfield, who's head of Turtle Time. Again, another issue that I'm certain will be clarified and worked out in the coming week or weeks.
I don't know what Vince is talking about here, but I get the impression that he doesn't think.
Better. This crackdown is very sad. Oh, Vince, you have. Listen, that is not wasted on me, sir. It is. And we have done everything that we can do to try and make life better. As a matter of fact, I mean, we've done everything we can do to try to preserve life. So you have an opportunity to make it better. And I know that there are the dissenters who will say, oh, you're being ridiculous or whatever. We have, and I stand completely behind everything that we have done. I believe everyone else does too. We've tried to leave no stone unturned. Fort Myers Beach is uniquely challenged. We have a bridge on both ends. It's not like Sanibel where you just, put something in front of the tolls, or Boca Grande, where they've just got one little hop over bridge, or even, Bonita Beach for that matter, closed down Bonita Beach Road, and they've got this access this way too. But it has been extremely challenging. And we've done whatever we could to try and take what was an incredibly crowded island just a few weeks, not even a few weeks ago, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The 13th of Friday was the day we decided to not have the shrimp festival. So the 13th of Friday, Friday, the 13th of March. And every decision that we have taken has been with people's lives in mind, hoping that that they will get better, and knowing that there is going to be a very difficult period ahead of us. And whether, I am not the kind of person that likes the expression misery loves company. That doesn't make me feel better. I'd rather know that you guys were having a great time and a wonderful thing, and I've got something to look forward to be having your experience instead of mine. That isn't the case right now. We literally, we're all in it together. Everybody is dealing with the same set of circumstances, and we just have to do our best to help each other get through it. So let's make life a little better. I'll tell you what, every single day my life is made a little better by one of my neighbors, a friend, somebody I don't even know. These random little acts of kindness. I keep telling you, I have this portal to the world called my front porch. I am every single day. That is the little bit of joy and energy that makes my day go. So I hope that gentleman has the same thing.
On that joyous note, do you have any Kringle left?
Gosh darn it. So the Kringle, at least one of the boxes came from my friend Dawn Thomas. I should have known that, of course. It was with her that I first had Kringle. And I still don't know who the other box came from. Jackie Lisak hinted that it might have been her, so maybe it was, because there was nothing inside. Yes, there is an entire box of Kringle in the freezer, and yesterday I sent some Kringle to my friends Marge and Hank Zuba, who actually used to live in Wisconsin. So I sent them some Kringle, and Jim Adderholt, get this, your next council member, Jim Adderholt, who went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, had never tried Kringle. I find that very, very hard. So I had to give him some Kringle. So on the Magic Portal porch, I left a little container of Kringle for him, and I'm telling you, have you not? Listen. So when all this is said and done, I'm going to have a Kringle party. I'm thinking that I might have a future being a Kringle spokeswoman. I don't know.
Let me pop that.
Yes.
Let me pop that other one up there so you can read it.
Michelle Burns. Hi, Michelle. Anita, you have shown us what a true leader is, and we want to. Oh. Thanks, Michelle. That's awfully nice of you. I am not alone in this, though. Like I said, Ray Murphy and Joanne Champ and Rexanne Hossafrost and Bruce Butcher and our attorney and our town manager and all the people that you never see and hear from because they're behind the scenes working. This is Daphne Saunders. God, she's just been Matt Love, the fire chief, the fire chairman, Larry Wood. I mean, you just have no idea all the people. Like I'm speaking, but if you could just imagine that there's right here another 100 people that are part, all the mayors, Senator Benaquisto. It's a lot of people that have all been trying to pull on that string. So on behalf of all of them, I'll take that compliment. Thank you very much.
Do you have meetings scheduled with them again tomorrow and Sunday?
You know what? I was so out of the loop today. I'm sure my friend from Sanibel will be letting me know that because he's done a really good job of organizing everything.
Gotcha.
But at the moment, I'll just see if I have. I just really don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
again, if anything interesting happens, I'll let you know.
Well, before you go, two more quick things.
I'm not in a hurry.
I think that what's going to happen is that when this thing's all said and done, everybody's going to go back. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's a couple of people that are on our page, and those that are watching know who they are, that just are relentless on how this is an overreach by government, and the numbers for the coronavirus don't match up to the numbers for the flu or when Woodrow Wilson was the president. And so my point is, I think that what's going to happen is when everybody looks back on this, they're going to say, man, none of us moved fast enough. Everybody moved too slow. Nobody knew.
They are already saying that. And if you look at the global numbers and you look where Germany is, that, quote, overreacted compared to Spain, Italy, and France, if you look at Germany's numbers compared to ours, and I would encourage the people who believe this is an overreach to pick any website and that has this kind of data and start tracking it yourself. And then see whether or not you really think that this is like the regular flu. But by the same token, I certainly am not going to get into an argument about it. Again, we have made the best decisions we could with the information that we have, and I don't believe in any way that it's been an overreach. It's been us taking every precaution within our power to protect the residents and the visitors to the town of Fort Myers Beach.
On Wednesday, you mentioned you'd maybe come back with an answer to the question of the employees of the town that Sanibel.
Nobody's been laid off.
Okay.
Roger has he has not furloughed anyone. I asked him that the other day. I just wanted to see, you had a couple of other questions. Let me just look at them. Nobody has been for, Sanibel. Think about Sanibel. Sanibel has a much larger government than we do.
Right.
They're a much larger community than we are. Has anybody been laid off? Oh, yeah, that really was the only one. Oh, whether or not there were charters still going out, I haven't heard specifically of any. Although somebody did tell me that they saw a fishing charter going off. So, yeah.
And did you want to bring up the other question that you heard or not? Leave that one out. that you heard about
Oh.
the property taxes?
Somebody was asking, you know what?
Whether or not we would waive property taxes.
Not waive
Well,
them,
not waive
them.
them, but move it. That had, and this is my understanding, that had been moved back from the end of March to April 15th, but that might not be enough time for people to financially adjust.
I think I said on one of your other shows, I'll just use myself as an example. My entire property tax bill on my house is, I'm just going to say it's right about $4,500, somewhere around there. The portion of my bill that I pay to the town of Fort Myers Beach is less than $300. Well, maybe it's 302, 312, somewhere around there. What I think it'd be interesting if that person would maybe find it interesting to listen to the City of Sanibel's meeting, our last meeting, where they really were discussing a lot of financials. I think what municipalities and county governments and the state, for that matter, you heard Governor DeSantis talk about this, are trying to do right now is keep their mechanisms, their machine moving as much as possible so that all those people are at work. And the town of Fort Myers Beach is no different in that regard. So, you know, I had someone who was a bit disgruntled the other day say, well, you know, why should your public works crew be working when I'm not? I can honestly tell you, in all my years of being involved with the town of Fort Myers Beach, I have never had somebody call me up and say, why am I not part of the public works crew? I'd like to pick up trash in Times Square every day. But now I guess that is, so the town is going to continue to do their best to keep projects that we have in the loop, to move things forward as best we can. And to continue down that path. And I would rest assured that, again, the next council, the next group of people who sit in those chairs will be looking at everything on a weekly, if not more frequently basis, to see what adjustments they can make or how they can make life more comfortable. But their number one charge is going to be to keep people safe, not make you comfortable right now. And that sounds harsh, but that's the reality of it. I like to be told the truth as well as somebody knows it. And so, you know, at first we were talking about, well, let's just close for 2 weeks. There is no one on the earth right now that thinks that things are in Florida are going to be better in 2 weeks. They think they're going to plateau sometime in the middle of May. And then you have a period of plateau and a period of recession, and you hope that you don't have another peak somewhere in that zone, right? So realistically, we are at June or July. Realistically, that's how that timeline looks right now. And that to me is the best information and the most honest information I can give people. Would I like to tell them something else? Absolutely. But in good faith, I can't.
And that's really just a guess. I mean, that's just a best
Of course.
guess.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's a best guess based on how things have tracked.
Right.
I don't know if you saw Governor Cuomo speak last night. You know, he was talking about how, you know, he could look and see just exactly where things are happening. And then the next hotspot comes up, and maybe that's Detroit or LA or it's New Orleans. You know, it will shift, but everybody goes just on the curve, and then it's trackable.
So the last question is, I can't believe Monday is April the 6th.
I know.
And it's time for the turnover. Well, how does that happen? Like we were discussing it before you came on. Will you be in one of the boxes, and will you?
I will.
Okay. How does that work? Explain how that works.
Here's how it will work. So just like you saw all the boxes today, the Brady Bunch of Zoom, and hopefully come Monday we won't have any audio glitches and everything will start up as it has. But thank you to everyone for being so patient today. And in the event that you have to be patient on Monday, thank you in advance. So the meeting will open. I will open the meeting just like I would open a normal meeting. And Ed, that agenda is online now. You can actually see what they're going to be talking about on Monday. We'll open the agenda. We'll open the meeting. Accept the minutes. There's some ministerial activities. The most important thing that I will still preside over will be certifying the results of the election. And certifying those results of the election are actually what makes the new council members valid. I don't know how to better say that. It's like, okay, yes, we're certifying this. These are the 3 people that were elected. These are the 3 people that will assume their duties, and then they will be sworn in. You'll see them being sworn in on the Zoom, and then they will. I'm assuming that Joanne and Bruce will participate. I don't know if they will or not, but if they do, they do. Let's assume that we're all there. At that point, once that happens, then Joanne and Bruce and I will drop out of the boxes, and Ray and Rexanne will be left with the other 3 new people. And since Ray is now the vice mayor, if Ray or Rexanne, let's say that Joanne had been the vice mayor and Joanne stepped off. Now there's still no vice mayor, but since Ray is the vice mayor, Ray will be the person that will call for nominations for the mayor. And when you call for nominations, the process of that is you theoretically could have 5 nominations.
Right.
I'm not sure that's ever happened. And the nominations are voted on in the order with which they're received. So whoever makes the first nomination, you take all the nominations at once. Maybe there will only be 1, maybe there will be 2 or 3, I have no idea. And that's voted on. Once that's voted on, then the person who is now the mayor, or who will become the mayor, will then call for a nomination for the vice mayor. And once that happens the same way, and once that's accomplished, then you have your new council. You have a mayor, a vice mayor, and 3 council members, and then they go on with the rest of the agenda. That simple. It's a little sad to me that one of the nicest moments of winning an election is standing there before people with your hand on the Bible and saying you swear and affirm to uphold the Constitution of the state of Florida and the town of Fort Myers Beach, and it's just one of those nice, very nice moments. And they're not going to have that with at least the public in front of them. But I would hope that at some point in the future there could be that sort of moment for these 3 gentlemen, because Lord knows they all worked very hard in their campaigns. They all ran very, very positive and good campaigns, and I'm happy they were elected.
Well, that's true. That's somewhat sad. What's really sad is that all that you have done, and you're going to drop out of a box. That's the saddest part of them all.
Maybe there'll be some sparkles or something. I don't know.
I think there'll be a lot of ceremonial things that are going to need to be
redone.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of celebration and redoing all of these ceremonies once this crap is gone. So we will have that to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Look, I am never dropping out of the real box of Fort Myers Beach. So make no mistake, I'm here. And as I've told everybody, if there's something that that I can do to help, if whomever the new mayor and vice mayor is and council members, if they find something that they need me to help them with, whatever that is, I am here to serve, and I'm happy to do it. But I also think it's really important. It's very important for us to turn this page. And as much as I will miss being an active part of all of the decision making and policy making, which I just love, and the people most of all, I'm still here, and none of that's ever going to change.
Do you think when the beach finally gets open, there's going to be a big ribbon somewhere across somewhere, and you're standing there and everybody's standing there, and it's going to be a flood of people running onto the beach. That would be cool.
I love that idea. Sort of like the polar bear plunge that they do, where everybody just, takes a mad dash. It would be great. I'm sure. Look, Fort Myers Beach knows how to celebrate, as you all know, and I hope that I hope that day comes sooner than later. I hope that we don't lose a single resident or visitor to this disease, and I think that we will be successful in that if we continue to take care of ourselves and take care of each other. And yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. It's been an hour. So we'll touch base this weekend. And
an hour goes by fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you. Well, if we don't see you this weekend, we'll see you in the box on Monday.
You will. Absolutely.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, folks.
Have a great weekend.
Ed, you look really nice in that We Are FMB t-shirt.
He does.
Thank you.
It's a good
color.
Drinking by every day. So thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. So the only other thing I wanted to mention, dear, was that they I didn't want to bring this up with the mayor on, but because it's not really relevant to all the other stuff that's going on, is that the Margaritaville thing did get delayed. It was supposed to be on April 15th. The oral arguments did get delayed. And I think Patton asked for a delay and she got a delay, but I think that most likely it would have been delayed anyway because of everything that's going on. I don't think anybody's meeting in court. But anyway, I just wanted everybody to know that it did get delayed. And who knows when it'll come up again. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:00, everybody. We got a killer show lined up. We're going to talk about everything everybody needs to do business-wise to get money from the government. Get your hands in their pockets and take that money so that you can stay alive.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have an accountant on to start the show, and then somebody from FGCU to talk about all the different things. And so it's going to be a great show tomorrow at 9:00. And until then, you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in. And remember, put that mask on before you go outside. Bye-bye.